It's time to meet the Muppets on the Muppet Show tonight.
Good morning. We are starting a little bit of spring cleaning. Is it a little early? Okay. I don't care. It feels a little springy outside. You can't tell because it's kind of like raining in Oregon. But, you know, is it because of climate change? Okay, I'm trying to look on the positive side right now. It feels nice outside. I do feel like maybe it's being in your 30s over being in your 20s, but I really understand kind of like the spring cleaning itch the last few years. We're gonna start today with a project I have been wanting to do for a long time. This isn't actually my area. We are tackling a space upstairs that we've always called the linen closet. I believe there's actually like no linen in it. I think it's mostly like weird electronics and a bunch of board games, but we need to use it for towels. So we are finally gonna go through that. I am hopeful we can get it all done in one day. It's just a closet, right? How much stuff could really be in it? So we'll see. I know that they are working upstairs, so I won't really be able to talk that much. So I do think most of this is gonna be B-roll, but I feel like that's still fun. You know, I feel like it's still fun to watch someone clean with fun little music. So I hope you're ready to get a little bit of cleaning motivation. Grab a little drink, grab a task you've been putting off, and we can tackle this together. I believe in us.
And over here on the dining room table is where I was putting everything. It was actually fairly easy because there was only 4 categories. Basically, it was just light bulbs and electronics, miscellaneous, tools, and then stuff for hosting, with the exception of, I don't know, maybe like 5 things that were either like trash bags that haven't been opened, or just like things that had a place somewhere else. There were also quite a few papers to go through that I just put aside for Aaron and Shelly to deal with because some of it was sentimental, some of it was directions. I wasn't sure what they wanted to keep. But overall, I think this entire project took maybe an hour and a half to take everything out, organize it, put it into tubs, and then put it away for where those tubs are going next. You can't tell from this segment, but I actually really love detangling cords. It's actually really fun and soothing to me. This is my favorite kind of project. I love doing stuff like this. I have wanted to do the linen closet upstairs for quite some time, but it just hasn't worked out. And so I'm glad that I finally got to tackle it. Thank you so much to Aaron and Shelly for being vulnerable enough to let me film it and share it with you guys. And then here's the table with only the stuff left that I wasn't sure what to do with. Aaron and Shelly are going to find a place to put the light bulbs. There were some pots for some projects that Shelly has coming up with her orchids, and otherwise it's all done. And it really, like, it did not take that long.
Okay. I had so much fun doing this. It only took 1 day, which is what I thought would happen. But it's a pretty small closet because of the way that it's shaped, as I'm sure you saw. What's actually most funny, and what I don't really have the answer to, is that closet backs into one of the bedroom closets, which is also shaped like that. So I'm curious if they've built the room that is a bedroom and then remembered that it can't legally be a bedroom unless there's a closet, and then they were like, put in a weird closet by taking out part of the hallway closet. Which I feel is like what had to have happened for both of them to end up being such weird shapes, but whatever, I don't build houses. To close this out, I'm gonna do a little work in progress update. I actually just finished a super cute trivet for our house, but I can't find it anywhere. So when I do find it, I will post a picture here on YouTube as like a static post, but it turned out really cute. It's my second one. Well, no, it's my third one because we made my first one together. And then this is my second one, which I made for my sister for their birthday this month. Really excited, slightly better than the one that I made for my friend in a few videos back. And then the one I made for myself is even slightly better than this. So, you know, practice really does help, which is nice. I also like accidentally, just because I was like trying to play around with stuff, made this like, I don't know if you can tell, like kind of like 3D, more 3D effect on this trivet. And I feel like it turned out cool. Is it once again green and red? Okay, yeah, kind of by accident. Sue me. You know, it keeps happening. I don't know how. Then I have started on my first like more normal sized quilt. It is a baby quilt, so it is like the smallest size. But I've made my first block for that. Really excited. It's for one of my friends who's pregnant, but has not like announced or anything. So it shall remain private for now. But yeah, so excited. I have like all thrifted materials for that one, and they're all kind of put in their own box, which I think I said in the last video, but really excited about that. Getting better, enjoying sewing. Also enjoying sewing sometimes off camera and then just showing you what I'm working on. So yeah. And then I want to end on a little bit of some advice that I have for cleaning. As you guys already know, I really like cleaning. I genuinely enjoy it. I get like a lot of satisfaction from seeing something that was stressful before, in my opinion, to being now like organized. It's genuinely like a hobby of mine, I would say. But not everyone feels that way. Not everyone has like a natural kind of instinct for organization or tackling tasks like that. So I have a little bit of advice that I've written down. I'm gonna give it to you least chaotic to most chaotic, and I think that that is the best way to deliver it. And I'm sure you've heard a lot of these before, but here I am anyway. Because maybe I'll say them in a different way that sounds more fun and interesting. The first advice that I have that I always say is you should have like a cleaning motivation playlist on your TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever. If you're not using like the saved function and one of the things you're saving is like other people cleaning, I think you should, because when I really need to clean something and I really don't want to, I go to my cleaning motivation playlist and I watch people who are like cleaning creators clean. And then I feel like usually it's like, okay, like I will also get the satisfaction of having this area cleaned out that's similar to the people in the video. You know what I mean? Is that too millennial of me? I don't know, okay? But it works. At least it works for me. Number 2 is you should try to break things into categories that are incredibly broad, and then later you can break down each category into more categories if you need to. So for example, when I was cleaning out the closet today, it was pretty easy to come up with categories, and then there's always like a miscellaneous category, I would say, anytime I've done anything. So in this case, it was like electronics basically was one, tools was basically one, stuff for hosting was one, and then kind of like a miscellaneous, like this was either like a gift that we didn't really use. Oh, and then games, obviously, but I knew games were going downstairs into what will eventually be the library. So it was fairly easy. Most things pretty easily fit into those categories. The things that were in miscellaneous, number 1, this wasn't my space, so maybe that was part of the reason it was so easy, is that I was like, these are not things I have to make a decision about. I don't have to find a place for them because they're not my things. So that does help a little bit. But also, you know, at the end of it, there really weren't that many things in that miscellaneous category that needed to find a home, because everything else did have a home. Like all the stuff in that closet we are keeping. There wasn't any like trash or old things in it. If there was, sometimes that makes it easier, sometimes that makes it harder. You know, just depends on what specific things are considered big obstacles to you when you're cleaning something up. But yeah, categories help a ton. And the way that I usually use categories when I'm cleaning, like let's say the living room, is I'll be like, okay, first I'm just gonna go through and get all trash. And then it's like, that's one less thing. Then I'm gonna go through and grab dirty clothes or like dirty dishes, things that need to be put in a hamper or in the sink to be like washed and dealt with later. Then I usually go through and pick up stuff that has another place that it goes, and then I go through and find where everything else goes. That's not my invention, by the way. I'm pretty sure that's from Casey Davis, who wrote the book, How to Keep Your House Clean While Drowning? Without Drowning? How to Keep House While Drowning. Casey Davis, actually our friend. I'm probably misquoting it, but it's like trash, stuff that has a place, stuff that doesn't, and maybe the last one's miscellaneous, I really don't remember. The biggest thing that I have definitely learned from her and from her books is that anything worth doing is worth doing partially. So that's the other thing that I kind of wanted to tack onto this note is, if I had only partially cleaned this closet and then gotten overwhelmed and stopped, okay, this is hard, because me personally, I would almost never do that, because that is more stressful to me. But some people would rather take a task a little at a time and do something like that over like a week. That is also fine. If that works for you and like it's your house and you don't have a deadline, that's okay. What you can try to do, hopefully, is commit to doing it for 10 minutes a day or an hour a day or whatever it takes until you're done with that thing. There is no wrong way to tackle things like this. There are definitely more like traditional ways, I would say. And when it comes to non-traditional ways, I'm not really the person you should be looking to necessarily to tackle those things, because I don't typically struggle with cleaning as far as like wanting to do it. I do struggle with having the time to do it, but that's another story. Another piece of advice that I have that I do think anybody can use is to organize things with the containers that you have. This includes old Amazon box that you haven't broken down yet. I don't know if you can tell, but in this video we're using a Tupperware container that we accidentally melted by putting it on a hot stove. And so I just put some duct tape over it. I don't think I put duct tape on it in like when I was filming, but I did afterwards. And I put stuff that is like small that we wanted to keep in the linen closet. It's like tape and like some command strips and things kind of like that we still wanted like accessible, but then they weren't like loose in the cabinet. I put them in that melted container. I put some tape over the bottom so that things didn't fall out. It can't be used for food anymore, but I can use it to store things like that. Is it a little ugly? Who cares? It's in a closet. Another thing that I did during this that you saw is we have so many tea lights, which are really great for ambiance, but they have also been really great if the power goes out. Now they're in like also an old Tupperware container that we don't use anymore because it's kind of a weird shape. And that's great. And now they're contained in one place. And if we needed all the tea lights, we could just grab them all at once. But they don't need to all be in matching plastic containers. If you're like, I don't want to clean this until I have the right things to organize it, it's never going to happen. Because if you had $100 or $200 to buy those like nice aesthetic plastic containers, you're going to spend that money on something else, as you probably should. And I'm talking to myself, because I do think the plastic containers that all match are so cute. I do. I think they're so cute. If they fell into my lap, I would happily use them. If I saw them on Marketplace for free, I would happily take them. I cannot justify buying them though anymore. I can't. Next, I want to say start with big/noticeable things. This is actually the opposite advice that I've seen other people give. A lot of people, I think including Casey Davis, say like start with something small, grab all the trash, grab all the dirty clothes and put them by the washing machine, you know, things like that. I actually feel the opposite. And I usually do the opposite. Is I try to start with bigger things that are gonna make like a bigger visual impact to me. Because the way that my brain works, once I can like see the tiniest bit of progress getting started, I'm like all jazzed up about it. I'm so excited. So usually I go through and pick up bigger things first, or even just getting them off the floor. So like if you've ever come to our house, there's almost always some laundry on our couch, and it is because I usually fold laundry on the floor. Shout out if you do too. I just found out not everyone does that. I feel like that's the way I have the most like surface area. But I like to fold the laundry on a clean floor, so I'll take all of the clean laundry that has either been on the floor or it's in a hamper or whatever, and I put it all up on the couch so that I can vacuum the floor. And then I put it back all from the couch back on the floor to fold it. But anyway, even just getting stuff up off the floor and vacuuming, to me at least, makes a huge difference. Like once I can see like, oh, this room has floor, you know, then I'm like, oh yeah, like I can do this. I can do this. I clean stuff many times in my life. I can do it again right now. Lastly, and this isn't for everyone, this is genuine advice that I would give you, and you can take it or leave it. If you really have a hard time getting started, make up a fake scenario, or even better, create a real scenario in which people who you would want to see your house or your room or whatever it is clean and organized are coming to your house. This one I haven't had to pull out in a while because maybe it's like having a toddler, but like especially now, being able to just clean, and that's like the only task I have to do right then, is like very much kind of relaxing. So I don't usually need to pull this one out anymore, but back in the day I did. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I have a date coming over tonight. I better actually do my laundry and actually make my bed. Oh my goodness, that would be so embarrassing if I hadn't done that. Or I have literally been like, hey, person who I'm not best friends with, but we're pretty close, do you want to come over on Friday? I would love to have you over. And then it's like, because someone's coming to my house, I'm like, okay, now I have to clean it for real. You know what I mean? Yeah, these aren't tactics I need to use near as much now, but they are certainly advice that I would give and I would stand by, because I feel like it's like using stress to your advantage, right? To be like, oh, I want this to be good, I want it to look good. You know, if you're someone who's motivated by deadlines, I feel like sometimes giving yourself a deadline by like, I want to have this whatever done by Friday, and then like it happens and there's no consequences, doesn't really work. At least not for me. I have to have an actual deadline, or if it's fake, I have to really convince myself that it's not fake and that people really are gonna be here to look around my house on Friday or whatever. So I don't know, take it or leave it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. That's okay. All right, sweet peas, that's everything. I hope you enjoyed this little video. There will definitely be more spring cleaning videos coming out. Like a little, I don't know, not quite like a series, because I always post a little bit of cleaning content anyway, but spring cleaning I feel like is for doing more than just your normal chores, right? Spring cleaning, in my opinion, is like doing things like tackling a closet you've been avoiding, or going through and reorganizing your art supplies, reorganizing your fabric stash, things like that. So, you know, more of that to come in our future. There's a lot going on right now, and the world is so scary, but you are so lovely, and I am so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much to all of our new patrons. We have, I think, almost 1,000 patrons now. We're really close to 1,000, I think. So thank you so much to every single one of you. If you are new here and you feel like sticking around, I would love for you to subscribe. A lot of folks actually watch these videos most weeks and they aren't even actually subscribed. At least that's what YouTube tells me. So take a minute and make sure that you're actually subscribed. We would love to have you on here. And like I said, I will do a static post here on YouTube whenever I find my missing trivet that I just recently made. I'm sure it's somewhere around here. I don't know if my toddler hid it or what, but you know, that's just the nature of the game. Okay, I love you so much. Enjoy the bloopers. Goodbye. It feels a little springy inside. What? I should not say that. FedEx is here. I don't even remember what I said last. All the dirty clothes and go put them like near the hamper or near the dishwasher. So take a minute and make sure that you're actually subscribed.